Good morning, everyone. We will now begin the morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters, asking God and Meishu-sama to protect and bless us as we participate today in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer, please stand. Taka ni kamsumarimatsu. Kamuromi kamuromi no mikoto mochite. Sumeri yoya kamui-sama no mikoto. Tsukushi no imu. Nashi hana no odondo ahagi harani misogi harai tamo toki ni narimaseru harai dono o kami tachi moro moro no bagagoto tsumi kegare o harai tamai iyome tamai Tomao Tsukoto no Yoshi o Amatsu Kami Kunitsu Kami Ao Yorozu no Kami Tachi Tomo ni Are no Fuchiko Mano Mimi Furita Tete Kikoshi Neseto Kashikomi Momaosu Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae Oshie mi oyanu shin no kami mamori tamae saki hae tamae Oshie miyoya nushi no kami mamori tamae saki hae tamae Kannagara Tamachi Haimase. Kannagara Tamachi Haimase. Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining evermore brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of life, the time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan, and for the privilege of channeling every season Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truth given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your grace. Please be seated. We will now receive group Johrei.
May God, the Meishu-sama, bless you.
Johrei is now concluded. We will now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teachings. God's plan. From the beginning of time, the great God of light has had the plan of establishing paradise on earth. How can this planet and all the universe created by God be imprisoned in darkness forever? When all people on earth open their hearts and minds to God's divine plan, darkness in the world will disappear. We believe the Supreme God, the creator of the universe, has had the plan for establishment of paradise on earth from the very beginning of time. Throughout the ages, God has been working toward its fulfillment. For this purpose, each human being is used as God's instrument. We believe that humanity's past history has been the preparatory stage for paradise on earth. For each age, God had sent the necessary individuals and religions, each to accomplish a specific mission. Now, the world is in such chaos that no one can predict what the future holds. We believe God entrusted Meishu-sama, our founder, with the great mission of providing the tools necessary for the world's transformation so that God's plan for humanity's physical salvation can be fulfilled. We are determined to do our best to eradicate the three great miseries of humanity: disease, poverty, and conflict, and to help realize an ideal world of eternal peace in which truth, virtue, and beauty prevail.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning service of the Miroku Association National Headquarters. I'd like to share some a faith experience today. This faith experience was shared in Portugal today, and it is from Sandra Micaela Costa Rato. She's from the Margem Sul Johrei group. Sandra Micaela has been a Johrei member for 5 years, and she belongs to the Margem Sul group, Johrei group. The faith experience that she's sharing with us began 4 years ago. She's a dance teacher, and in a private class, a student invited her to join a real estate business, considering that Sandra is very communicative, and to accept a challenge to be a real estate agent in Lisbon. After some time, Sandra accepted the offer, and started to have two professional activities that occupied her a lot of time. 2 years later, that agency closed, and they owed her a lot of money, the result of a negotiation that she had to carry out. Later on, she talked to the office national coordinator and explained her situation, expressing that as she identified with the company's philosophy, if possible, she would like to be integrated into another agency. Sandra was told about a vacancy for the position of commercial director that, in coordinator's opinion, was ideal for Sandra, and that the local director was a good person to be trusted. Sandra promptly accepted the offer, immediately scheduled an interview, and was accepted right away. Her arrival at the new agency was not well received, though, by the other agents, nor by the team she would direct. But with a positive sounding, looking for what God and Meishu-sama wanted her to improve, she did her best to overcome her difficulties. Whenever she could, she took flowers of light, mini banners to her workplace, and talked about Johrei. In the meantime, 2 years ago, her grandmother was urgently admitted to the San Jose hospital, and from then on, Sandra made a daily effort to give her Johrei assistance. In the ward where her grandmother was hospitalized, only one daily visit was allowed. Miraculously, Sandra got an open access card, which allowed her to fulfill this dedication with the zoning to elevate all her ancestors and constantly expressing her gratitude for this permission. She confessed that these were very difficult times because, with two professional activities, giving religious assistance and taking care of all her housework, it was a tremendous soul polishing for her, culminating with the death of her grandmother in January of last year. Shortly thereafter, the pandemic emerged, and in this way, home office became mandatory. There were many trainings and online meetings, sometimes demanding work until 9 p.m. After a short time, the online services began being broadcasted. She regularly attended the daily services from Portugal and Brazil. Sometimes she even stopped working just to watch the broadcast, and at the same time, she prayed at her home altar. In January of this year, she was perplexed to be laid off from the position of commercial director, as she did not understand how it was possible to have someone being evaluated during the pandemic. However, if she wanted to, she could continue to work, but only as a real estate agent on a commission basis. She began to imagine what her life would be like. How would she be able to pay her monthly bills, including her Ikebana Sangetsu classes? She's a student of an advanced course, and not being able to complete the training due to the lack of financial conditions would be a huge frustration for her. Sandra asked her minister for guidance about the Ikebana classes. The minister mentioned her situation and concern with the Sangetsu instructor, as she had lost her job with a fixed salary. Sandra received the guidance to open her heart to God and Meishu-sama before the altar, asking them what they wanted from her. What path should have to follow from then on? Sandra surrendered her concerns at the altar and understood that this would be an opportunity to train humility and detachment, to grow and evolve. In the prayers that she always say before going to bed, she asked God and Meishu-sama to show her where she could make more people happy. So she went to some interviews for the same position in other competing agencies, but in her heart, something told her not to accept the job positions. Thus, she decided to go back to the starting point and accepted to be a real estate agent at the same agency where she had been released from the position of commercial director. Nobody understood her decision. Everybody told her They would never stay at the same agency with the same director who would have dumped them. However, she thought differently. Something told her that this was where she had to stay. And so it was. She trusted God and Meishu-sama. After some time, she had a big family conflict in which she couldn't accept the spiritual challenge because she wanted her relative to change instead of she herself change. She knew this situation was for her spiritual growth, but what made her most upset and disgusted with herself was that her attitudes and feelings were not in accordance with what she knew she should practice. Simultaneously, she had a strong physical purification that began with dizziness and then developed into diarrhea and vomiting to the point that she ran out of strength, leaving her in bed for more than a week. Initially, Sandra saw this purification only as an elimination of toxins. But with the worsening of the symptoms, she felt that she needed to go deeper into its roots. And in this sense, she received Johrei and listened to the teachings of God revealed to Meishu-sama on her cell phone. During this purification process, through the guidance of her minister, she began to align her soulmate with God and Meishu-sama, deeply recognizing that she was the one who had to change. Thereafter, she began to study the late Reverend Tetsu Watanabe's messages about what is called the mechanism of salvation. And she did the zoning to be thankful for her purification, considering it a great permission for her growth. After her reflection 2 days later, the symptoms had almost completely disappeared, and she had the strength to get up and eat better. Upon recovering from this purification, she began to attend a training for real estate agents. And in March of this year, she received a call from the office national coordinator. She thought the reason for the call was to comment something about her dismissal from the position of commercial director, since the initial suggestion came from the coordinator herself. What a surprise was for Sandra when she was invited to join the national coordination team. She couldn't believe what she just heard. The coordinator commented that she was observing Sandra for a long time ago and had in mind to invite her to the national team. Sandra was very happy with the invitation and promptly accepted the offer. Hanging up the phone, she became emotional and couldn't believe the blessing she had just received. Only God and Meishu-sama could grant her such a big blessing. She understood from her spiritual journey that it is important to let things go, to be able to surrender our concerns into the hands of God and Meishu-sama, and that everything that happens in our life that we consider to be bad, in fact, if we face them as opportunities for our own growth, it will certainly be a prelude for upcoming progress. She learned that sometimes one should have the humility to take a step back and then take 2 steps forward. Today, she has a job position much higher than the previous one, a higher salary, with 10 branches under her responsibility. Sandra remains committed to Ikebana Sangetsu classes and to her committed hours at the Johrei Center every Friday afternoon. She prays daily to God and Meishu-sama, channels Johrei at home, and she offers with great love 10% of her earnings as her monthly donation of gratitude, in addition to other donations she makes. In order to properly express her gratitude for that blessing received, Sandra decided to make a special monetary offering through the full materialization of her first salary. And in addition to continuing our basic practice of faith, Sandra is following up and channeling 30 minutes of Johrei daily to a regular visitor of the Johrei Center. Sandra understood that making commitment and dedicating was the reason for the blessing received. Sandra is very thankful to God and Meishu-sama, her ancestors, her family, her minister, and her instructor of Ikebana Sangetsu for all the love, guidance, and support received. So that was very nice experience from Sandra. I want to thank you for joining this morning service. I wish you a very blessed weekend. And tomorrow we have a service here in New York at 11 a.m. Hope you can join us through YouTube, Facebook. Also, will be through the Zoom channel. Thank you very much.
This brings to a conclusion of our morning service. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a blessed day.
I think I was hungry.